today you find me at the wheel of something really rather special. It's the Mercedes-AMG GT S. The moment I laid eyes on it, I was at a complete loss for words. And there's a very good reason for that. Just look at it. It's almost the perfect representation of the classic front-engine, rear-wheel drive, two-seat sports car. Of course, it reminds you of the last AMG sports car, the SLS, but there's something different. For one, the famous gull-wing doors are gone, and where the SLS looked angry and aggressive, the GT looks softer, smoother, and gentler on the eye. The sides are pleasingly devoid of creases and cuts, with only the subtlest of bulges to draw your eye. Oh, and of course those rather racy, center-locked 19 and 20-inch wheels with optional carbon ceramic discs peeking out from behind them. And finally, the rear, and oh what a rear it is. It's wide and made to look wider still by those slim LED tail lamps. It is the second sports car to be developed in-house by AMG, and as such it is a replacement for the mighty SLS gullwing. However, it's not a direct replacement for that car, because while that was a big 570 horsepower answer to Ferrari and Lamborghini, this one, it's smaller, it's lighter, it makes less power, and it's more of a competitor for the Jaguar F-Type and the Porsche 911 Turbo. With a price tag of 2.4 crore rupees, it sits right at the heart of today's 500 bhp plus sports car segment, and that makes it accessible to a lot more people than the old SLS AMG. Not only is it unique from every other Mercedes car that's on sale right now, it's also beautifully built. I mean, the quality in here is just fantastic, and there's a great use of materials like soft leather, aluminium, and even carbon fiber. Even the design is incredibly focused. I love the 4 bulbous AC vents on the dash, the performance shortcut buttons arranged like 8 cylinders on the huge center console, and the chunky Alcantara-lined steering wheel. But for all its fantastic design, it has to be said that this cabin does suffer from one or two ergonomic shortcomings. One example I can give you, the gear selector. It's way back here, which is fine once you're moving along, but when you try to parallel park, it can be a bit of a pain shifting back here. It takes a little getting used to, and if like me you're not very tall, so will the driving position. When you first get behind the wheel, the size of the AMG GT can be a little intimidating. I mean, the bonnet stretches out endlessly forward, the car is really wide, and visibility out the back is not very good either. But spend a little time here and you'll soon be able to plot this car exactly where you want to on the road. That's also partly thanks to the steering, which is incredibly quick and accurate, if a little on the heavy side. AMG cars have always been about the engines. It's a 4-litre twin-turbo V8. The headline figures are pretty impressive. 503 brake horsepower, 66 kgm of torque, and a lot of noise. I'm driving it in quiet mode right now, so you can hear me speak. But listen to this. It really does sound like a pakka AMG. But what you'll also love about this motor is its wide and incredibly strong power band. It gives you serious and constant thrust from low revs all the way to the red line. Now while that gearbox is really quick while you're really moving along, it does fumble a bit and can be a bit jerky while you're traveling at slow parking speeds. When you're really going for it though, the gearbox is an absolute thrill, slamming in each gear with just the right amount of kick. Effective, but not brutal. Now let me tell you a bit about the AMG GT's ride. Well, it's a sports car riding on 20-inch wheels, and it's a bit firm. You can dial through the various drive modes to adjust the suspension firmness, but even in comfort mode, it still errs on the stiff side. The upshot of that firm suspension is that this car feels really planted and really fun around corners. Now it feels very balanced in normal mode, but if you dial it up all the way to Sport Plus or even Race, the ESP goes into a sport mode, and then the true AMG nature of this car comes out. And by that, I mean it is very happy to kick its tail out with minimal provocation. The best part, however, is that it's very controllable and it will return to its line very predictably. With every new car it launches, AMG takes its game a little bit further, be it the sports sedans, the SUVs, or even the coupes. And the new AMG GT is the culmination of all of that. It's the pinnacle of what they can do. It is gorgeous, just gorgeous to behold. It's so well built. It sounds phenomenal. It's a bona fide sports car in the ilk of any of the others that have gone before it. If you're in the market for such a thing, we would highly recommend taking a look. Now it's true that the AMG GT delivers an abundance of power with pin-sharp dynamics, which is why everyone in the office wanted to take the wheel. Then the thought struck us, why leave it at just one AMG? There you have them, 10 of Affalterbach's finest, every single AMG sold in India. The plan was simple, drive up from Mumbai in a few of these cars and catch up with all of them in Lonavala. Welcome ladies and gentlemen to the growly green giant itself, the Mercedes-AMG G63 Crazy Color Edition. Yep, it's even got the word crazy in its name. If there's any car here that can rival the AMG GT for a sense of drama, an occasion and road presence, it's got to be this one.
Well, we're talking about this car now from the back seat because after all, this is an S-Class and most owners are going to be sitting here. They are going to be in this really lavish back seat. But this car has got the AMG treatment, and this S63 AMG is possibly the fastest way to get from one board meeting to another board meeting.
Now, one of the cars that made the biggest impression on us this year was this new C63S. Now, the S stands for special. Now, this standard car has enough grunt as it is, but the S gets 503 horsepower. 503 in a car of this size. It feels just insane.
Now this SLK, it's the last of the Mohicans or the last of the naturally aspirated AMGs. This 5.5 litre V8 puts out 414 horsepower, but it's not just the power output, but just the way it puts the power down, which is really a large part of this car's appeal.
And before you knew it, we reached our playground for the day. 10 AMGs, nearly 5,000 bhp at our disposal. It was like going to a buffet and having all your favorites there. So we decided to taste all, but indulge in only a select few. Time flew by, but then someone suggested a drag race. You can tell how much fun we had. That couldn't be said for the film crew who had their hands full with everyone racing. But when you have 10 AMGs and an airstrip, it's only about one thing: power.